What is goody, everybody? So, in this little video, it's gonna be like just me, just overall, just grading the LA Clippers off-season moves ever since after um, April when we got bounced out by the Pelicans. Each move is just gonna be like the pros and cons, like how I would just do, just like me and Clip Gang Who Don't Bang would usually do in some of our grading videos. So, but thankfully, the Clippers, they did not do anything. Well, they probably did something pretty crazy that I'll just dig into. But the Clippers started off pretty strong, but unfortunately, the Clippers did finished off pretty poorly. I'm not gonna even lie to you. But hey, let's just dig it in. So let's start with the pros. So first pros, judging chronologically, we dropped it Musa Diabote. So the Clippers went for the power forward route in this draft, which is that's a smart move because this draft class is a power forward dominated class, and next year's draft class, we're saving for that point guard spot for next year's upcoming draft class. And we got Musa Diabote, who's a stretch 4, stretch 5, who's a really good, like, versatile defender, who's a really good rebounder. He's a really good energizing bunny. Sucks he got hurt in the first game. But Moose, we got an athletic freak, and we might have got a good one. Like, at first I was a little like, meh, like, should we draft with someone else? Because lots of other guys were younger. But hey, Moose turned out to be pretty well for us. And congrats for him getting the contract deal. And then the biggest one is we signed John Wall for free. Now, John Wall, we got him, but it kind of caused some little consequences because Hartenstein did have to leave because we didn't have the money to pay him. But John Wall, man, he like when he's at his peak, he's a very skilled point guard that could literally just penetrate like a bullet train and then just freaking get a jelly. And his passing abilities are pretty tough as well too. So he's not just gonna be like a Rajon Rondo, who's just gonna be the guy who just passes the ball. Nah, this guy has the scoring upsides. So that's a really great thing about John Wall, and he plays pretty good on the other side of the end too, on the defense, and he's a really physical, strong guard. And plus, he's good friends with PG, so the camaraderie is going to be there. And also, he's shown a lot of signs that, he's not going to be a big ego type of guy because, he's saying he does not have to be a Batman. He's willing to be a Robin. He's willing to sit behind Reggie Jackson. Just willing to work his way. So that's a really good accomplishment. Plus, good part about me is there's less chance that the Clippers are gonna trade Brandon Boston Jr. Because now we got our point guard like solution. Third, we brought Moses Brown. Look, I know the decent amount of Clippers fans, they would not want to trust Moses Brown because he's really young. He's a bit more of an unproven type player, which is, for me, I don't really look at that way because in my eyes, even like the best of the best superstars, everybody's unproven in my personal opinion because, I mean, if you want to use the proven logic, well, thing is, Harden's like literally the most proven being at the best ISO scores, but yet he did flop against when he was playing for Philly. I could use that as an argument, or Russell Westbrook. He's proven to be the best triple-double king that makes everyone better around him, but he flopped with the Lakers. Andre Drummond, proven to be the best rebounding machine. He flopped with the Lakers. So, like, that's why I don't really look like, oh, is that guy a proven player or unproven player? I just look at what the players actually do. Maybe, yeah, you could use it to, like, a baby extent, but like, end of the day, I like young talents compared to some other casuals who just simply that just simply just, that don't really watch the games, or they just look at the box scores and everything. And Moses Brown, I think that's low key a like a what's a proper word? Like a consolidation backup piece for Hartenstein. Like, of course, obviously, I would much rather have Hartenstein than Moses Brown because Hartenstein's the same age, but he already has the locker room like chemistry with us. He's very athletic, shoot the floor. He can do it all. But Moses Brown, he's more like a traditional big. It's kind of like a really, really raw version of like a Rudy Gobert. Like, I mean, I'm not saying he's nowhere near close as Rudy Gobert because Rudy Gobert's on a whole new level compared to Moses Brown. But I'm just saying, like, an extremely unrefined version of Rudy Gobert because if you really think about it, Moses Brown, he has really good rebounding upside. His size is pretty good. He's a really good shot blocker. Um, he cannot space the floor yet. But he's just more of a type of guy that's just a traditional big man. And I'm probably the first one to say it. I would not mind having Moses Brown as our backup big man. It's 10 times better than trading Brandon Boston Jr. for Miles Turner. But yeah, like, I mean, there are moments when Moses Brown did kind of like somewhat impress me, especially when he like got like 8 blocks against us when we faced off against him. Like, I get it was just Daniel Turu, but I mean, he does have a really good shot blocking upsides, and I'm totally welcoming the Moses Brown acquisition, but would have been nice if the Clippers did try to find someone else, like another big man that could compete with Moses Brown instead of just Moses Brown. Like last season, like we signed Harry Giles, but it turns out we just found a gem in Hartenstein. So I would like it to get better if we had like a little like a trial to see like who's the better backup big man, or hey, you never know. You can have a third stringer type big man, like a third, which is Moses Brown could be the second, or the other guy that could be second. But I mean, I heard a lot of rumors of other things like JaVale McGee. Hey, I'm cool with that too. I don't know if he's a free agent. Boogie Cousins, who I'm actually really, really like some semi open to bring back Boogie Cousins. You just had to play Boogie Cousins during the right time. Like I would play Boogie Cousins and John Wall primarily at the same time, so John Wall could just feed the heck out of Boogie Cousins because like I feel like the reason why like Rondo didn't show his full potential the time when he was with us, like I'm not like all the other Clippers fans who would just think Rondo is just completely trash. I mean, he was a little bit of a disappointment, but like I felt like he was used during the wrong times. Like I feel like Rondo and Boogie Cousins should have been playing at the same time because Rondo would just bam feed Boogie Cousins, and Boogie, he's a problem down low. Like I get Boogie's pretty slow, so his defense will not be the prettiest if he has to guard guards outside, but he makes it up with his grit and of his really good post moves. So I'm all bored of, just might as well just bring Boogie as a locker room vet for the big man positions. Now, my personal biggest pro is the Clippers did not fall for the third star hype that a lot of, you know, the so-called Clippers fans are, you know, um, like are talking about doing, like trade for Kyrie, all this, KD, or blah 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 blah. I'm just essentially glad the Clippers did not, well, I guess they did disappoint me in some other aspects, which I'll get to later. But I'm just glad we did not trade it Brandon Elliott Boston Jr. for anybody because, man, we already have the tools to win a championship. And like, yeah, if you trade Brandon Boston Jr. for like, let's just say KD or Kyrie, we're probably gonna win 2, or if really lucky, maybe 3 rings. But like, if Brandon Boston Jr. becomes a freaking like a top 10 player, which is I predict he will definitely, it's really possible he could be there. Like, if he becomes a top 10, top 5 player, like in the, let's just say whatever team we traded him to like the Brooklyn Nets for Kyrie KD, like those 2 or 3 rings are not gonna mean, like, yeah, I'll be happy we win it, but at the end of the day, it's not worth it in my opinion if it's gonna result Brandon Boston Jr. becoming a breakout fucking star for the other team, while the Clippers we just get KD or Kyrie just 1, 2, 3 rings, and then after that we just fucking suck for, I don't know, like a pretty long time, because we don't have any draft picks either. So it's just, in my opinion, it's totally not worth it trading a guy like Brandon Boston Jr. for a quote unquote proven name. Like, I know my last video when J Scrub got waived, a lot of the fucking all these bozos who were pushing to fucking trade the whole team for fucking KD or John Wall or some shit like that. They crawled out like fucking cockroaches, and they came at me in their comment sections, and let's just say I had a good time with them, because it does help my algorithm to a certain extent. So hey, just want to talk shit, fucking just comment, just help my algorithm up, bro. But yes, I'm just totally glad we did not trade Brandon Boston Jr. at the moment. I hope we don't. I doubt we will, because Jay West himself did say Brandon Boston Jr. is going to be a fucking superstar. So, like, if Jay West saying that, yeah, good luck trying to wish Brandon Boston Jr. ain't traded. But anyways, like, some people, they're so dumb enough, they want to trade Brandon Boston Jr. for fucking Miles Turner. Like, look, I really liked Miles Turner like years ago. I wanted that guy since we collapsed in a bubble. I was willing to ship Luke Kennard for him, because I admit I slept on Luke Kennard big time. But think about it, like watching like a little bit of Miles Turner like play more often. Um, Turns out like he's not as this perfect ideal big for the Clippers as some other Clippers fans would make him look out to be. I mean, like I would take him, but he's damn near not worth trading Brandon Boston Jr. for Miles Turner, because he's a worse rebounder than Ivica Zubac, and people, they criticize the heck out of Ivica Zubac. Um, and Brandon Boston Jr., that guy's like if you want to be conservative like with comparisons, it's like a Brandon Ingram. My personal favorite comparison is Tracy McGrady, but why would you want to trade like a guy who's going to be good like Tracy McGrady for a fucking just a younger Serge Ibaka? Because if we're being real, that's Miles Turner's um that's like kind of like some of his ceiling is like a Serge Ibaka, because he can space the floor. He's more like a rim protector, but he's probably like a little worse rebounder than Ibaka. But let me know what you think about the Miles Turner comparison. But I'm just glad we did not trade Brandon Boston Jr. because boy, the offseason would have been ruined if we actually did. But anyways, let's get to the cons. So one con is Isaiah Hartenstein left. Like, it sucks. This man is a high IQ center. He can play make, he can shoot. He's like a Montrez without the problems and with the better size and the IQ. Like, dude has a complete package, and it sucks this guy left. He's a physical, strong, big. Shout out to New York. Congrats that y'all got Hartenstein. The dude's gonna break out. He's definitely gonna be a pretty good big for the Knicks. But there's not too much the Clippers could have done, because the Clippers did want to get John Wall. They're just banking on John Wall, because who knows, John Wall could still return to his all-star form. So like, it's a tricky situation, but it would have been nice if the Clippers just got Hartenstein to take a little pay. I mean, not Hartenstein. I mean, John Wall to just take a little better pay cut, and have Hartenstein still sign on our team. Or the Clippers could have just made some trades to make room for Hartenstein. But I guess he's gone now, and that stings. And my biggest cons, and this is just more of my personal opinion, but and anybody who's seen me in the YouTube comments or just watch my videos in general, I'm pretty fucking pissed about this shit. J Scrub got waived. What the fuck? What the fuck? You waive a 21 years old real who could jump out the gym, who's very fucking athletic and plays good both sides on the end. Yeah, he had a really shaky summer league. His shots couldn't connect, but it's still no excuse that the Clippers waived this guy, waived my man Jay Scrub. It ain't no excuse because when he actually got real minutes during the NBA game, he actually isn't bad. Like, he plays his role, he plays really good defense, he gets the rebounds, and he even helped the Clippers made a 35-point comeback. So, that is not an excuse to waive Jay Scrub. And look, I say, even if we trade him, I'd be freaking mad as heck. But the fact that we just waived him, that was just not it. But if you pay attention to this video, I did put the asterisk around Jay Scrub got waived because there's always a chance that maybe, Jay Scrub and our front office had a little agreement behind the doors and saying, that he's going to be on the team during long term, but, now they cannot just have him on the team because, our roster thing is a little full at the moment, so they're probably going to have Jay Scrub play for, the G League teams, and maybe once, the Clippers, have, a little emergency, they could just bring Scrub back on the team, and who knows, he could just earn his way to be a key player for the Clippers. And if you do have any socials, if you look at Jay Scrub and the Clippers, if they still follow each other, because when when NBA players they depart from a team, they usually just unfollow the team. But coincidentally, Jay Scrub and the franchise, the Clippers themselves, they still manage to follow each other. So you never know. That's a really big hint. That's a really big hint that he could still be on the G League squad and just eventually earn the minutes. Appreciate to all the people who were, who showed some, let's just say some, who were just, I don't even know the word at the moment. I can't really think, but who showed support after when Jay Scrub got waived. Some people were so infuriated that Jay Scrub got waived that they said Preston should have been the one who got waived, which is, if you really think about it, I can kind of relate, but I think that's really pushing it because Preston is still under contract and he doesn't have too many flaws. It's just his upside is just not as exciting, but that would be too far to just straight up waive Preston just to bring back Scrub. What I would rather have done is just the last con is the Clippers did not shed small forward or shooting guard depth. What I would have done instead to ensure to bring back Jay Scrub on the team is I would have done this thing called shedding. I would have shedded some shooting guard or small forward depth for some first round picks, especially in next year's draft class. Because 2023 draft class, I see at least 15 prospects that will at least make it to the All-Star one time. That's how loaded is that draft class in my personal perspective. What I would have done, I would have definitely traded Marcus Morris for a first rounder in 2023 to build ammunitions to trade up. And then just maybe if I could smell blood in the ocean, I would try to find a lottery team that is that is stuck in the middle that wants someone to get paired up with, like maybe like the Orlando Magic, since they picked up Paolo Banchero and they have Cole Anthony, or um, maybe Sacramento if they're still gonna be pretty bad, because they got Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, so they're trying to do something a little bit. So I would have like just maybe like now. Now, the person I'm gonna mention is like a really, you have to be really careful where you trade him to. Like, but I would have probably considered shipping Luke Kennard to like a hardcore, like a lottery team to get like a first round pick. So the Clippers wound up with 3 first round picks, and we definitely could stockpile for the long term, and we could still bring back Scrub. And heck, we could have still brought back Harnstein, because think about it. You shed a cool $30 million in depth because you traded Morris, right? You traded Marcus Morris to, like, let's just say a random contender for a first round pick. Probably like a team like, I don't know about Atlanta, since they already traded a lot of first round picks, but any like kind of like a contender. Get their first round picks. And then, well, Luke Kennard. Like, it's a little pushing. Like, it's kind of like pushing it, because Luke Kennard, you never know. He could probably might as well be a breakout player of the year. But if just maybe, trade him to a lottery team, and you get a really high draft pick, top 7 draft pick. That could be tough. That would be tough for the long term. But this is not really like the last one. Is not really counting against the Clippers, because if we wind up still keeping Kennard and Morris, that is more than A-okay, especially Luke Kennard, since he's proven that he could be a long-term Clipper, since he did spark a lot of comebacks. But, I mean, the thing with now, well, Morris, that's more like a hot water, because he and Robert Covington, like, they would kind of like, it would be like a conflict of interest, because I would much rather kind of like give Covington more of the minutes, but Morris has shown a lot of clutch moments. But the thing is, now his trade value is probably going to dwindle when we would actually need to trade him. So, like, so that could be kind of like the con, is the Clippers do not shed small forward and shooting guard depth. Shout out to my man RR for having the same like type of mentality on what the Clippers should do. Now, if I had to give an overall grade, like, it's kind of a little difficult to give a legit grade. Like, if had the Clippers not waived Jay Scrubb, I'd give it like a really cool B plus. But since we just simply just flat out waived the heck out of Jay Scrubb, bro, like, that brought that shit down to a C. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I was thinking about like bringing it out to like maybe like a C minus, but like nah, like the Clippers don't trade Brandon Boston, so I should be fine. If the Clippers traded Brandon Boston Jr. though, I'd just fucking give it an F plus, low key, just because like we fucked up long term, but we fucked one half up, but I don't know, man. Like like if the Clippers are actually planning to completely part ways with Jay Scrubb, it's not many benefits for the long term, because like, I mean, when they just give him the opportunity, it's just bound he's gonna break out, like, probably to be like a semi-star, or heck, fucking turn out to be a superstar that we just let him go for free, which is, that's a pretty bad decision that we just let go Scrub. Like, but I'm still trying to give the Clippers the benefit of the doubt. They kind of did just waving Scrub to have like a little chess move that, oh, like, Scrub, you still could kind of like work out with the Clippers and everything, but we just have a roster, like, we have a roster thing issue, so maybe he's just probably going to stay with the G League team. I hope that's the case, because there's no reason for the Clippers not to bring Scrub on the G League team, because
Scrub is only 21 years old, and he's damn right the best G League Clipper player. So, like, I'm just hoping it still happens. But, and I think I'm low key. I think there's a solid chance that might be happening. But I mean, no other teams are picking up Jay Scrub, which is that is a sign that the Clippers are still like having a little backdoor thing with Jay Scrub. Like, well, I think we're probably just playing chess because I mean, no one really, no one other than the Clippers really know like Jay Scrub too well, so they're probably not gonna pick him up to any like big contract deals. So that is pretty good that he's not getting picked up yet. So hopefully we swoop him back like an eagle, and he could still be the guy for us. But I mean, for now, it's kind of like I rank the Clippers like a little pretty harsh because I'm still pretty salty of that one move that we just did. But overall, I'm glad Brandon Boston Jr. is still on the team. Anybody who wants to trade Brandon Boston Jr. for a guy like fucking Miles Turner, especially the guy named Jay Hannon who was a big scrub hater, just shut the fuck up and enjoy Brandon Boston Jr. greatness within the next season, the next two season, the next three season, and so on. But anyways, let me know what you think about each of the videos as well too. Was I way too harsh? I expect everyone in a conversation to essentially say yes. And as y'all know, much love. Have a really good day or have a good night. Enjoy your dinner. Enjoy your lunch. Peace.